What does the public think about reverse mortgages? Good question, right? I'll give you the answer. They're all over the place. So I'm going to go through a couple of comments. There was a big text chain or comment chain on Nextdoor, and a little bit of backstory. I started this is obviously reverse mortgage reality. This is where I live, Wellington. So I started a Nextdoor page just to see in my local area, just to get the word out, and haven't even really gotten too far in it. I only posted a couple of pictures, no articles or anything like that. But then this person about a day ago says, and by the way, I apologize if you're watching this. Well, you put your comments live on live on the interwebs, and this is what you get. So this person says, "Do not ever do a reverse mortgage." So she just commented, and a whole bunch of other people commented too. But I'm going to take you through it, and we'll go over the comments. Some are thoughtful, some are trollish. I don't expect everything to be positive about reverse mortgages. And shoot, I'm the first one to tell you that this program isn't perfect. The only thing perfect in life is Powerball when it comes to money, but that's kind of hard to get. On the other hand, if you've got a significant amount of equity and you need it to either live right now or create a retirement safety net, and reverse mortgage is a really, really good plan. So anyway, we'll go down here, and you'll see my sarcastic, fun comments. You can kind of tell from if you look at some of my YouTube videos, when you get unthoughtful stuff like "Don't ever do a reverse mortgage," then I normally comment with something somewhat sarcastic. Why? Because it's fun. I'm not going to change these people's minds, nor do I want to. Um, but if you do want to get in touch, by the way, at the end of this video, I'll put my contact info, and we might as well do that now too. My name is Jason Eichmiller. I own and run Key Home Lending and Reverse Mortgage Reality. Let's see here. This is the website, reversequotes.com. If you'd like to learn more, you can always call me at, kind of see how a reverse could work for you. Go ahead and call me at 888-309-9705. If you want to, here, I'll move myself out to the side. If you want to book an appointment to chat, just enter your name over here on the right. If you're on a mobile phone, this information will be on the bottom, like right below this little tiny write-up. If you want to see how other seniors feel about reverse mortgages, then got a bunch of letters and videos that I've done with folks that have trusted me to do their reverse mortgage. So anyway, back to the fun stuff here. Do not ever do a reverse mortgage. By the way, when you hear when it's just negative, don't do it, like kind of internet trollish, I'm okay if somebody says, "Hey, I don't agree with reverse mortgages because of X, Y, and Z." And there's one or two of those down there, but they explain themselves, and maybe they're wrong, or maybe it's not right for them. But anytime anybody has such a passionate argument without any facts or anything, without anything behind it, then you kind of scratch your head and say like, wow, that's a lot of passion for something that you probably don't know anything about. So let's see here. This is me. Seems like you must be a licensed expert to give that sort of advice, Barbara. I got 3 likes. So Michael's got Barbara's side. Reverse. So a lot of times also when you have internet trollism, the verbiage, I don't expect anybody to be a great writer, but reverse sometimes common sense and experience outweigh a license by a lot. Well, that's okay. Michael, you're right about that. Suzanne says, Barbara, you can become homeless if you can't afford your expenses. So like everything else, you need to be fully informed. Nonprofit counseling agencies can help people understand all options and keep people housed. Yeah, everybody who gets a reverse mortgage speaks with a reverse mortgage counselor. They are nonprofit, and they don't care whether you get the reverse or not. They just want to make sure that you fully understand it. And in life, yeah, if you can't afford your property taxes, whether you have a reverse or you don't have any mortgage on your house or you have a regular mortgage, then eventually the tax man or the mortgage man will cometh. So let's see here. So Sylvia got a reverse mortgage, it looks like. Barbara, not with a reputable company. I can live in my home until I pass, as long as I pay. She's so right. As long as I pay HOA taxes and keep home in good condition. Not sure where you're getting your info, but obviously incorrect. Yeah, and this is what's great about, like, I didn't start this. I didn't elicit any of these responses. I have no idea who any of these people are. So it's kind of neat to go through and see that there are a good number of people out there who have good understanding. They're not reverse mortgageologists, but some have got reverse mortgages and are really happy. And others kind of understand that the 10,000-foot basic premise, hey, get some money. You don't have to make payments if you don't want to. When you die or if you sell the house, the money plus the interest that accrues due, and then your kids get the rest. And that is the 10,000 foot about reverses that a lot of people understand now. So Elaine right here, by the way, getting back to this, Elaine, you'll see, Elaine is not down with reverse mortgages, but she never says why. Or if she says why, it's a very, very faint argument. Here's Katie. She's going back to my original comment. Anybody can offer advice, could be based on experience. You're right, Katie. Absolutely. Then I comment. Here we go. It has to be thoughtful advice. I've helped seniors with reverses since 2008. I've seen a lot of misinformation. So there are positives and negatives to everything, including reverses. I just hope that advice comes with something behind it. Don't do reverse mortgages. They're Satan's tool. But why? Why do you think that? Do reverse mortgages. They're great all the time. But why? This is me responding to Barbara up here. You can lose your home if you don't pay property taxes, but if you have a regular mortgage, you can lose your home if you don't. And if you don't have a mortgage, try not to pay your property taxes and see if the tax man cometh. So yes, you have to be a responsible homeowner. Yes, you have to keep your house as your primary, but if you're responsible enough to pay your property taxes, which we all have to do, and actually want to live in your home, a reverse won't surprise you. Then I went ahead and wrote something else. It's basically the same stuff. Valerie, love reverse mortgages. Know plenty of people happy with them. That's great, Valerie. Thank you. Elaine says I doubt it. Elaine isn't okay with reverses, but she doesn't explain why. Elaine, you can believe what you will. I went with a company who has you take a class. Yes, we have you do your reverse mortgage counseling to understand the good and bad about reverse mortgages. All of us have our own opinions. It's wonderful for me. That's great. My dad was a mortgage broker in Palm Beach for years, and he had one, and I have one. Great. So dad was a mortgage broker. Dad got it for himself. Dad had a reverse, and now Valerie has one. That's awesome. That makes me happy when people, if you need it, then you discover the tool, you ask a lot of questions, you think about it, and then you do it, and then she looks to be very happy. Elaine's back. Well, tried to talk me into it. Think good. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't. Elaine says because then, or no, Barbara says because then you don't own your home anymore. So Elaine and Barbara are like I don't know. I don't think they really I don't think they're being mean or anything. I think they just don't understand how this works. So Valerie, who actually has a reverse mortgage, says, Barbara, you do own your home. You sell your home the same way as a traditional mortgage. Valerie, Elaine, well, people I've been working over 40 hours a week to pay their mortgage. I've retired for 5 years because I don't have to pay any mortgage. Who's winning and enjoying? Oh, she's saying, yeah, I get to retire and I'm living a decent life, all because I don't have to pay a mortgage. Who is winning and enjoying life? I believe you are. I'm going to like that. Danny says, Barbara, that's not true. My dad had one. We sold his house and split the money. There you go. Don't know these people at all. Susan brings up a very interesting point. I disagree somewhat, but at some level she's right. Barbara, you don't own it if you have any kind of mortgage on it. So she's wrong. But it's thoughtful. If you have a mortgage, yes, the mortgage is a lien. Taxes are a lien. You must pay the mortgage and must pay the taxes, or somebody's going to come and get the house. So I get where Susan's coming from there. Oh, and this is me responding. I don't like unlicensed, unexperienced folks giving advice. Blah, blah, you and your spouse stay on the deed. These people up here put it just as well as I did. Suzanne says, go to a non-profit housing counseling agency to give you advice. I've seen reverses literally save people from becoming homeless. It's not a yes or no, just be fully informed. I like this. I really like this comment. And yes, again, everybody who gets a reverse, they do have to talk with a reverse mortgage counselor provided by HUD. What I do is I give you a big list of counselors and you pick who you want to use. Most of my clients who do reverses, though, they're completely bored out of their minds by counseling because we go over all the numbers, the interest rates, the fees, the structure of the program, how it's going to work for them. We go over it in depth before you get to the counseling, so the counseling just reiterates what they already understand and they're bored to tears. But I think counseling is good because if if an originator doesn't spend that much time with a senior, then they just say, hey, take it. It's money you don't have to pay back. The senior says, oh, that sounds good. But you've got to know that, hey, you don't make the payments, the interest accrues. You must keep the house as your primary residence. You must pay property taxes and homeowners insurance. They've got to understand all of that stuff. So that's why I like the counselors. All right, Sylvia says, years ago I set up my parents for a reverse mortgage and they allowed their later life to be not so, but so much more comfortable. That's emotion in words right there. Just over 2 years ago, I set myself up with a reputable reverse mortgage company. Great decision. I'm letting my home work for me instead of paying a mortgage every month. I have terrific company. Sylvia says, it's not for everyone. She is. So now Barbara's gotten from, don't ever do a reverse mortgage to, it's not for everyone, which is true. I'm with you, Barbara. Some reverse mortgage companies are not reputable. Kind of agree with that too, actually, although we're all regulated by HUD and the FHA. Excuse me. See what, Elaine says, my son getting my house. Don't owe much now. That's cool. Hey, if you're living great and you can pass the house to the kids and you don't need the money from your house, you got a few $1,000,000 in assets and you're not sweating it, then you don't need a reverse. Amy says to Barbara, some reverse mortgage companies are not reputable. Amy says that's in every industry. I'm going to like that. Felicia says reverse mortgages are a pain if your spouse dies and you need to go into a nursing facility. Your family has to do a whole lot in a hurry. Same thing if you die in your home, but let's be real, it doesn't happen for many of us. I'm not a fan of reverse mortgages. Fair enough, Felicia. See, not everybody's positive about them. And at least she said she doesn't like it and she left a reason. Here's where I kind of disagree. If your spouse dies and you need to go into a nursing home, you can actually keep your home. It's just if you relinquish your house as your primary residence, which means if you're the only person on the deed and you have to go to the nursing home, you can go temporarily. In fact, you can go for almost a year, for 364 days. Now, if the house stops being your primary residence, or you're in the house for a year, or you're out of the house for a year at a time or longer, then if the reverse mortgage company finds out, they can call their money, which means that you're gonna have to sell the house probably, or your kids will refinance it, whatever you want to do. I will say statistically though, and this is a sad one, and obviously there's outliers, but if you're in a nursing home for a year, it's not very likely you're going to make it back. And it's a sad fact. Don't like saying it, but it is basically, statistically, it's a fact. So Elaine says, yes, Felicia read a lot. No way. Felicia, my husband and I just went through this with his mom's condo. It was one headache after another. She's not cognitively able to handle all this. We had to do it all. We ended up needing an attorney. Yes, I will say, Felicia brings up a good point. Everybody, including me, you should have a power of attorney. Okay? You want a medical and a financial power of attorney. And I'm not an attorney here, so I can't speak that intelligently about these things, but can be very simple, just basically saying if I become incapacitated, here's who can handle my stuff. Every single person should do it because just like Felicia, I've worked with people who haven't gotten them set up and then something really bad happened and they wanted to get a reverse mortgage and it's gotten really tough. So word to the wise, advice here. Elaine says, Felicia sucks. I agree. And Barbara is now wrong again, says, now the condo doesn't belong to you or your siblings. Barbara, you're wrong for reasons explained above. Valerie, my parents both died in their home and we had 6 months to sell the house. Yep. Barbara, no, it had to be sold when mom was no longer living in it. The reverse mortgage had to be paid back. Yep, true. But again, mom has some time. You don't have to sell it the next day. Elaine agrees. I don't know how can be wonderful. Valerie says, me and my parents don't have any mortgage payments. My parents stayed in their home for over 30 years. Let's look here. That's good. Heard had to move. See, at least Elaine's kind of like listening and learning. Valerie said, who had to move? My parents were able to stay in their house till they passed away, which they both did this year. Sorry about that, Val. They are great, Alice says. Joan says, best thing I ever did. Valerie, these people say it way better than I can. The only people moving or losing their houses are people that didn't pay the property insurance and property taxes. Elaine says, oh, okay. This thread is going. Felicia is right. Homeowners insurance is out of control in Florida. I'm so glad we sold the condo, but it wasn't safe for mom to stay alone. Blah, blah, blah. Homeowners insurance is expensive in Florida. By the way, if you do live in Florida and you want to get a reputable homeowners insurance company who can shop it around, I've got a bunch of insurance brokers. Feel free to reach out. Elaine says, kids don't get the house. She's back. Worked hard for my house. Daniela says, I actually responded to this. Reverse mortgage is a type of mortgage you need to be careful and knowledgeable about. It may be certain helpful under certain circumstances, but terrible for others. The lifespan on people has increased, and you may be out of equity house soon if you don't know the rules. Yep, pay the property taxes and homeowners insurance. Most brokers will sweet talk elder people who trust them and fall for it. So about this sweet talking thing, right? Now, as an originator, I do get paid when you do a reverse mortgage. And I do my best to make friends with my clients, which is really great. I get Christmas cards all over the country, and I feel like every person I help, you've changed their lives, and like there's something really meaningful, and I don't know, it just makes me feel good. With that said, I'm talking about elders who fall for it. So there's a lot of disclosures. In fact, I probably answered this down here. There's a lot of disclosures that even if did not mean well, that these people have to look at. So when you get counseled, you have to have documents that have the numbers right in front of you. You have to be looking at the documents that have the numbers. The counselor has the numbers and goes over the numbers with you. Then you sign an application which has all the numbers. Then at closing, you sign the closing papers which have the numbers. Then you have a 3-day backout period or rescission period where you can say, at any point in time, you say, I'm not comfortable about this, I don't understand it. Then you can either say, nuclear button, I don't want to do it anymore. Or you can just ask me or go back to the counselor and ask the counselor. So there's a lot of safeguards, and it's kind of tough to be fooled into doing this. If you go in with your eyes open, if you're just going to like smile and sign and not pay attention to anything, I get it. The only one who won with the reverse mortgage was my girlfriend, who was caring for her elderly mother, and they took a reverse mortgage out. They were very well paid despite the condition. Very lucky indeed, and her mother could not make it with Social Security she was getting or the kids' help. This one instant, I know it worked for them. By the way, this was 15 years ago at least. So it's tough to follow, but seems like mom did okay. Nothing is for everyone, but reverse mortgages have helped plenty of people's homes, and they've enabled people to buy homes. Blanket statements are worthless. Gary, that's a good one. I think he was typing it from his phone or something. Reverse mortgages have saved plenty of people's homes and have enabled people to buy homes. Yes, we do help people buy homes with reverse mortgages. And I agree with this 200% more than I agree with anything else. Blanket statements are worthless. If you have something to say, back it up, and then we can listen. This is funny, but Tom Selleck says, and in my response, truthfully, I don't know if Tom Selleck can spell reverse mortgages. He's a paid celebrity spokesman, just like all the rest of them. The only one that I give kind of credit to, and I knew Robert Wagner because I did reverses, and he did campaigns for my company back like 15 years ago, 14 years ago. But Fred Thompson, actually, before he passed, he was a reverse spokesman, and his mom had a reverse mortgage. So kudos to him for sticking up for what he believed was right. The rest of them, I don't know if they know anything about reverses, but they're good actors. Don't do it if you have children. Blanket statement, says Bernie. I said, why is that? 15 hours ago, Bernie has yet to respond. I agree, says Jennifer. I agree. They control it, and so many things hidden. Okay, tell me what's hidden. Again, why do you mean they control it? So many things hidden. This is true. Yesterday I was on a call with a financial advisor who's doing it for his dad. Went over every single fee. He's a financial advisor. He's a smart guy. We went over the interest rates. We went down the line by line, item by item. And he's excited for his dad. He loves the program for his dad. Again, you literally can't hide fees. They must be disclosed in the counseling package, application, and closing. A few people like that. Was begging and calling constantly, had to know, blah, blah, blah. So Barbara says, apparently I've been misinformed regarding these. Good job, Barbara. That's so neat when somebody, kudos to Barbara. She came in with a terrible attitude about them, but I think she's listened to a lot of these comments, and I don't know. If it's not relevant to her, then who cares what she thinks? Like, it might not mean anything to her. She might not need one, or maybe she doesn't own a home, or she doesn't have equity, or maybe she does. But at least being able to change your mind after hearing evidence, that's a really, really awesome quality. I appreciate it. And Jerry, this is the last one. Jerry says, in the 60s and 70s, houses were cheap. save up and bought one outright. After bank's involvement, houses got really expensive. Everyone profits, even the homeowners. Were we right? You're right if it fits you. Yeah, man. Jerry's a philosopher. Things are very well. Houses were cheap. Also, income was cheap, right? We didn't make as much back then, even in the 80s and 90s. But now, everything you were making a lot more money, and houses are worth a lot. There's just inflation all over, right? I can go down the rabbit hole of inflation. I think that's another video. But I guess I'll say this. So these were, if this is what common people, I don't mean it like that, but this is what random people on the internet think about reverse mortgages. Again, Barbara started off this chain, and Barbara, thank you for starting it, because it was a really good discussion. I think there were a lot of intelligent comments, and I love this sort of discussion, even though it's on the internet and people can hide behind their keyboards. But I do appreciate thoughtfulness. Now, for you, if you are, I'll go back to reverse quotes. If you are interested in seeing if a reverse mortgage can work for you or a loved one, then feel free to give me a shout. This is my phone number here. Rings actually straight to my cell phone. It's 888-309-9705. You can put your information here to get a quote. Again, if you're on a mobile phone, it won't look exactly like this. This form submit will be down below. And of course, if you want to watch how other real seniors feel about reverse mortgages, then go ahead and you can read the testimonials. You can watch the little videos. Got a lot more, but I didn't want this to be like, I didn't want this thing to go on forever. But yeah, I'd be absolutely more than happy to help. If you want to email me, also you can email me at jason@keyhomelending.com. I don't have it. Watch this. Jason@keyhomelending.com. Boom. There you go. If you email Jason at keyhomelending, you'll get to me as well. So you can call the 888 number, email me here, or go ahead and submit your information right here. I hope this helped. Maybe it was just some comic relief because you've been with me for a while and you understand what reverse mortgages are. But it is really neat to see that there's a lot of people out there who they either had reverse mortgages or their parents had reverse mortgages, and they don't have any allegiance to me. They don't know who I am, but they just understand that the program's worked well for them and it's helped them, and they're willing to stick up for something that's positively made an impact on their lives. All right, that's 22 minutes. Went a lot longer than I thought it would, but yeah, just wanted to share this with you. And anything you need, feel free to reach out. You know how to get me, and if you do reach out, I'll tell you this: I will do my very, very best for you. All right, thank you so much. Listen, take care of yourself, and glad to help if you need me. Take care.